Social media, like never before, is today is actually the instantaneous news wire. If there is an earthquake happening, we tweet before we actually run away. Okay? And this is a fact. If you go to Twitter's office in San Francisco, there is written, because it's a seismic belt, the first thing that is written there is, please don't tweet, get out of the office. Because people have the tendency to tweet before. Similarly, so the point being, where are we getting our news first from? Who is setting the narrative? Where is the mainstream media picking up their stories which are happening? Where is the government? Mr. Dwivedi made a very eloquent presentation. Where is the government getting its new ideas? Cute diplomacy has been taken to a new level. Two prime ministers, where our prime minister is currently visiting, are exchanging tweets. Our prime minister both in English and in Japanese. And it's in public domain. Right? So instead of a coded conversation over a telephone line, it's actually in public domain. So the citizens of both the countries and across the world can consume what these two gentlemen are exchanging. Right? What is for consumption in public domain? Now, if that data is on a server in India or server anywhere in the world, I'm not concerned. Because that's public data as it is. So it's of little concern to me. But the fact that Mr. Gupta mentions that these companies, which are benefiting a lot in their valuations and in their business, don't pay taxes in India, is a very valid issue. It's absolutely a valid issue. So that's where my agreement is serving. I think these companies should pay taxes in India. And one of the first steps that our government has taken is, some people may not like it, but is putting a service tax on online advertising. Online advertising was one of the few industries, like the legal industry, which was exempt from service tax. Now there is a taxation on online advertising in this budget onwards, service tax. So that brings all these companies which are advertising into the ambit of service tax in India. And that's the first step. So any smoke screens that they have created to prevent taxes in India will have to go away. If they want to do business in India, they'll have to pay service tax at least. So that's the first step. So we are in the right direction. 100 days are yet not over. It's actually going to be tomorrow. Right? So the point being, we are in the right direction. Now, one thing where I have huge amount of disagreement with something like the use of technology and 25 people losing their jobs. I've been 22 years into this industry, more than anybody else has been, into the internet industry. And I've seen the world changing with the use of technology. If technology is solving our efficiency problem, I think we should throw these mobile phones away. You can't have it both ways. Technologies, if any technology, whether it's mobile, whether it's internet, whether it's social media, is solving a problem of disintermediation, where there is an inefficiency in the system, and a few people are losing their jobs because there was inefficiency. That job was because there was an inefficiency in the system. We can't blame technology for that. We have to bring about efficiency. What Mr. Dwivedi talked about is lakhs and lakhs of Indians commenting and giving ideas. Without technology, I would be reading letters for the next 2 years before implementing them. If I have to get these 2 lakh letters and to be read those 2 lakh letters and to make any sense out of it, it will take me 2 years. So the government's term, half of it would be over. Because of the use of technology, we are able to assimilate this information and action it in real time. The Jan Dhan Yojana is a good example of that. If I was to use snail mail, as it is called now, this would be forever process. So we cannot, whether it's social media and technology in general, make it the pallbearer of losing jobs. In fact, I think we should celebrate the amount of jobs we are creating in this industry. If it is not for the software industry, India would have not seen the global image and the kind of growth rates that we had seen. So how can we condemn the use of technology? I'm actually very appalled at that, to be very frank. But on the other hand, so I have to first say a negative and then a positive. Email policy is required for this country. Our official emails The fact that I have a personal email, and that is Gmail, and you're right, I have read that whole contract back and forth. That contract, you give your life away to whosoever your service provider may be, because we don't want to pay that $20 a month or whatever, $50 a year to them. There are many private email providers who serve you no ads, who don't share your information with marketeers, but you have to pay money for that. The cost of not paying that money is to see those advertisements. We have made a choice as a consumer. Now that's my private business, that's my private email. But for my official work, as we use corporate accounts, the government also should use more and more corporate, more and more NIC or secure accounts, which are hosted, and the data is hosted within the walls of this country, within the sovereignty of this country. That's absolutely desirable, and I think we are working towards that. The robust indigenous infrastructure is the need of the day. As much we would require a robust Indian messenger or Indian e-commerce player or Indian cloud services, everything in India. Why not? The Prime Minister has already made a compelling request to every Indian to make in India, sell to the world. Right? I mean, that was one of the cornerstones of his 15th August speech. So, I think we have to look at what are the merits of what all of us are saying, versus there are few disadvantages, and technology is moving so fast that we have to keep, I mean, the laws really become antique before they get enforced, because technology is changing so fast. There is a law called the Intermediary Liability Act, which is very applicable to all of us as social media users also. Anything that we post on the internet, the intermediary, which is Facebook or YouTube, they are all called intermediaries. They are not liable for that if they act upon a complaint received in certain time frames. Because this is all user-generated content, right? These are just platforms that are taking the user information that you are hosting. Suppose you are writing a very wrongful blog post. Facebook is not responsible for that, or Twitter is not responsible for that. It is you who is creating that content is responsible for that. And why this is different from conventional media? Because conventional media goes through a screening process. Somebody is publishing that paper. So you submit to the publisher, the editors edit it, select what they want from it, and then publish it. Very unlike social media, it's user-generated content. And that's where the laws have to be different. Yes, the laws need to be speedy enough to take cognizance of fast-changing technology. Thomas More said 18 months, the power of a computer doubles. That law still applies to all technology that we use. Our cell phones, you see, every 18 months you change your handsets. That's the average time, by the way. Because the handsets just become better. I mean, yesterday it was duo processor, now quad processor, now it's penta processor, then it's increasing and increasing. So, and same thing applies to technology. I mean, the new things keep coming up. Whosoever thought that there would be instant messengers like WhatsApp 2 years ago? They were not prevalent in India, but suddenly they are very prevalent. They're more prevalent than Facebook and Twitter. So, in this fast-changing world of technology, laws need to keep pace. And that's a challenge that all of us will face going into the future. But final comments on whether it's a compliment or challenge for mainstream media, for conventional media. I think mainstream media should use it as a compliment. Should use it as their extended arms. And that's what all people are doing. It's a converged world today. It doesn't exist separately. Today you see hashtags while Mr. Goswami is eloquently debating at 9 p.m. And this is hashtag that is there that you can debate on, and you can also tweet back. All these companies have products where they measure the success of various talk shows and the decibel levels by the tweet frequencies. So it's a converged world, and news stories are being picked up and being distributed wherever they, if there is breaking news, people are not going to wait till tomorrow morning for it to come out in the newspaper. It is getting tweeted out, it is getting put on Facebook as it happens. And I'm sure we have Mr. Awadh after us, who's going to talk about where they see from a correspondence perspective. But this is revolutionary, and I think we have to learn to embrace it. And whatever shortcomings there may be, whether legally or from a technology perspective and from a social fabric perspective, we have to solve those. One of the issues that I think very correctly everybody has brought out, and the government is taking the right steps, is child pornography, online gambling. Those are worrisome things, and they are against the law, and we should put enough effort to restrict them. So that's my take. I hope I was able to bring out a positive and a negative aspect of what it is. But final words, conventional media needs to adopt social media technology like never before. Without that, there will be dinosaurs in the future.